So this is the one. Okay, so in this one, what this guy's trying to say in this video, right, which you may recall from the other day, we were watching it, is he's basically trying to say that okay, he's trying to okay, it's like he's trying to explain why are there these pedophile elites, right? Because of like the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Now, for those of us, for like my viewers of this channel, will know that the Jeffrey Epstein thing is just a lark. They're just trying to distract you from the bigger operation, okay? And it's just like what they call a limited hangout. Okay, if you want to Google that term, you can find out about that. But that's what they're doing. It's a limited hangout. What they do is they take a situation when people are finding out about the truth. They take a situation and they blow it up to make it so everybody's like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Oh, those guys are right. And then they make that situation into ridiculousness. Okay? Or they make a situation that's not really telling you the truth, you know? Like this thing with Epstein is nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing compared to what they're actually doing, in my opinion, you know? But anyway, so now this guy, this is the thing. So on the right now, on the right wing, you know, in politics, they have the right and the left, right? So on the right now, it's more and more permissible to talk about elite pedophiles. Back in the day, it was like, oh, that's an insane conspiracy theory. Don't even talk about that. Now it's like kind of acceptable to talk about it. So a guy like this who's on the right or far right, yeah, now they're blaming everything on Diddy. That's what they do. That's what they do. They put up a fall guy like the Bill Cosby, the Diddy, the whoever, and they make it, and they make it, and they. It's like this is all part of the plan, you know. But so what this guy now, this guy, he's on the right wing or whatever. So he's trying to say, he's trying to like explain this thing, because like I say, on the right now, it's acceptable to kind of talk about this. So there are people on the right who will just literally say that they believe that the elites are pedophiles and all this stuff. So now he's going to come here and say, okay, what he's basically saying is that we should expect to see more pedophiles among the elites because that's just how it is. Because the elites are geniuses, they're high IQ geniuses, right? That's his argument. And then the other part of his argument is that that's like premise one, right? The elites are high IQ geniuses. And then premise two is geniuses often are psychopaths. Okay? So what he's trying to get you to think is that okay, so we know that among the so-called pedophiles or he's calling them hebophiles, right? The people that are into like teenagers or whatever. So among hebophiles, there's a higher proportion of them are psychopaths. Okay, and then he's trying to say that among geniuses, there's this higher proportion of them that have psychopathic traits. And so based on that, he's arguing that okay, since we know that there's more psychopaths among the hebophiles, and since we know there's more psychopaths among the geniuses, and since we know our elites are geniuses, then we should expect to see more psychopaths among our elite, and therefore more hebophiles among the elite. And that's his argument, okay? And the reason why it's like dumb is because, I mean, there's so many reasons why that's dumb, but the first thing is that okay, just the mere fact that people have these elites are like the mere fact that let's say geniuses so called have like certain traits that are like what do they call them, like low in agreeableness or whatever, and that's a similar trait, like many psychopaths happen to have that trait. That doesn't mean that geniuses are psychopaths. Okay, that's just stupid. And then also, it's just stupid on so many levels. But the fact that this is the thing, this is the main thing. The main problem with this guy's argument is that what he's saying is that this paper. Anyway, you know what? Maybe we should just watch this video. I don't know. Let's just watch it again. All right.
Rule the world, or more. Hello, and welcome to this edition of A Quick Pint. Now, do paedophiles rule the world? Or more specifically, do ebophiles, that is to say, men that are attracted to sexually mature but nevertheless extremely young girls, rule the world? Now, this is an old conspiracy theory which goes back many years, and if what is
Now,
happening,
that's the thing. Now, the conspiracy theory is not that. The conspiracy theory is not that they're ebophiles. The conspiracy is that they're pedophiles, and it's not that even that like it's not that they're pedophiles or I don't even know. I don't know if they're pedophiles. I don't even know if pedophile is a real thing. It's just that the conspiracy theory is that the elites like to diddle kids, little kids, and even babies and stuff, and they'll sacrifice them and all that stuff. That's the conspiracy theory, right? But he's trying to say, oh, is this old conspiracy theory about these elites, they're hebophiles, they like or hebophiles or whatever. They like teenage girls, and you see we saw with the Epstein thing. So it makes it look like, oh, it's not that bad. Okay, so they're teenagers, they're not little kids. Whatever. Yeah, obviously we see that there's lots of dirty old men that are like that. So what are you gonna do? That's what you have to deal with. You can't get rid of that. That's just the way of the world. That's what he's basically trying to argue here. But first of all, that's not the conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is that they like to go for little kids, okay? And then the other thing is that anyway, whatever. Let's just hear what he says.
being released of late in court documents relating to the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein and his island of underage orgies are to be believed, then the answer may well be yes. In the documents that have come out, we have named so far Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson.
So that now this is the other thing. Now the idea that okay, there's a bunch of famous people that went with Jeffrey Epstein on his plane. That doesn't prove that they're all ebophiles or that they all were doing orgies on his island or whatever. It doesn't prove any of that stuff. Okay, none of it. All right. It's just that okay, they're associated with this guy and he's a pervert. Okay, fair enough. So that's not good, but it doesn't prove they're all hebophiles, right? But what he's trying to say is, oh yeah, that shows it, and also we can explain it because they're geniuses, and geniuses we can expect that geniuses will be ebophiles. It's like so dumb. Anyway, listen to what he says.
Al Gore, a prominent prime minister, and Stephen Hawking. Are our elite more likely to be interested basically in having sex with underage girls or girls who are, as it were, borderline? Now, what I want to show you here is the answer theoretically is yes. And we really shouldn't be surprised that among the world elite, ebophile.
Which video is this? I remember something about this. Yeah, who was saying this again? I don't know. I can't remember that.
Those that are attracted to these, borderline girls are significantly overrepresented. We shouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. No, I know which way you're talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks. I forgot about that. Thanks.
Out from Jeffrey Epstein's. Shouldn't be surprised at all by what is coming out from Jeffrey Epstein's ebophile orgy island. Now, there was a very interesting paper published many years ago now called Creativity and Psychopathology, and it looked into the psychology of.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the main problem. So the paper is called Creativity and Psychopathology. Okay. So this is what I didn't pick up on it because I'm not like into psychology. I don't even like psychology, but I should have realized this when he said it. But the paper is called Creativity and Psychopathology. All right, it's not psychopathy. It's a different thing. He's trying to say it's psychopathy. Okay, but psychopathology. So okay, let's talk about this. So there's pathology, right? A pathology is when you have some condition that requires treatment from a doctor or something like that. Okay. It's about that thing you were saying about PB on the thing. That's what he wanted to talk to you about. Anyway, so pathology is when if you have a sickness that you need a doctor for, you need like some medicine or you need somebody to do something to fix you, right? That's called a pathology. So if you have a cold, that's a pathology. If you have cancer, that's a pathology. If you have depression, that's a psychopathology. Psychopathology meaning a pathology of your psychology, your psyche. Okay? So that's what a psychopathology is. That is not the same as psychopathy. Psychopathy is this thing, it's part of this group of disorders they call antisocial personality disorders. So they have a few of them. There's like psychopathy, there's a sociopathy, there's a narcissism, there's borderline personality disorder, and I think there's a few others, right? But those are called like this. They're in this group called the antisocial personality disorders or something like that, right? Anyway, whatever. The point is, psychopathy. That's what psychopathy is. It's when people like that have psychopathy. They're like supposedly, right? I don't necessarily believe in this stuff, but supposedly these people they can't control their violent tendencies and also and other things like that, like their lust, and also they don't really care about other people and stuff, and they don't feel empathy. They don't like they don't feel guilt about doing wrong things. That's supposedly what they call psychopathy. Okay, but what this fool's doing here, right? This idiot, right? What he's doing here is he's trying to take this paper. The paper is saying that creativity as psychopathology, that is just something wrong with your psyche, whatever it may be, that those things happen to be correlated. And so it may be that there's some level where psychopathology actually helps people to be more creative or more like genius or something. Like that's what the paper is about. Okay, because of course everybody knows that geniuses, we often see that geniuses have these weird eccentricities and they're kind of weird, right? Now what he's trying to say is that there's a higher proportion of psychopaths among pedos and among hebophiles. That's what he's trying to say, which is true. But he's also trying to say that geniuses are also psychopathic, but that's not the case, and it's also not the case that that paper that he's bringing up, which this is why like this guy the way what this guy tries to act like he's some high IQ guy, and he probably is, right? But high IQ people can make stupid mistakes like this, and that's what he's doing. You know, he's making the stupidest mistake you can make. He's literally, or maybe he knows, maybe he's that like he's purposely doing this. I don't know, but this guy's literally trying to say that because this paper where this woman proved that there's some kind of correlation between like psychopathology and geniuses, that proves that we should see more psychopaths among the geniuses, and therefore we should see more hebophiles among the geniuses. And then the other part of his argument that's so dumb is that the elites of our society, they're all geniuses, so of course we're gonna, you know what I mean? It's so dumb. It's so utterly dumb, this argument. God, I hate this. I hate this. These people are sick.
Extremely famous men. And it was published in the British Journal of Psychiatry, and it was penned by the psychiatrist Felix Post. Now, what he showed is that
No, well, I mean, this is the thing. Like, of course, yeah. If you have Jesus, then that's gonna help you to be a good person. And without Jesus, you really can't be a good person. And so the geniuses that don't have Jesus or don't believe in Jesuses, or don't believe in Jesus, they will probably end up being kind of bad people. Does that mean they're psychopathic, quote unquote, whatever that means? Like what does that mean? Psychopathic means they're very violent, very like sexually promiscuous, and also they don't have empathy and they don't feel guilt. Supposedly, right? That's what supposedly that is. So are there geniuses like that? I'm sure there are, but it's not like there's a higher proportion of geniuses that are acting like that. I don't think so. I mean, he hasn't shown evidence for it. He's showing evidence for the idea that there's more like psychopathology among geniuses.
basically the question is, what are the predictors of sexually abusing people? What are the predictors of being a hemophile? What are the predictors of having sex with underage or borderline girls? What are the predictors of engaging in orgies of this kind? What would predict it? Well, the studies indicate that the first thing that's strong, that's clear among people that are hebephiles is they are high in psychopathology. Psychopathology means that you don't care about other people, that you lack empathy, in the sense of that you.
So you see what he's saying? He's saying psychopathology. He's saying the word psychopathology, and he's giving you the definition of psychopathy. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm trying to say? I hope you guys get what I'm saying. I think you do.
Sense of giving a damn about their feelings. You might be very good about understanding their feelings, but you just don't care. You're basically an extremely unpleasant.
This is like okay. This is like you're right. Of course, you're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is this is even worse than just correlation is not causation. He's not just making that fallacy. He's making that fallacy, and then he's making it again on this side with the he's making it on this side with the psychopaths and the hebephiles or whatever. Then he's making it on this side with the geniuses and the psychopathology. Then on top of that, even though that's true, what he's saying, like the psychopathology is like correlated with genius or whatever. He's taking the word psychopathology and making it into psychopathy. It's so dumb. This is like next level dumb. Okay. And this guy, I'm telling you, this guy right here, this guy probably has like an IQ, genius level IQ. Because he likes to brag about his IQ all the time and stuff like that. Or he talks like that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a high IQ guy, you know? So this is just to show you that these people are can be just as stupid as anybody else. Or even if he's not being stupid, he's being deliberately deceptive. Either way, this is incredibly dumb. This argument is so dumb, I can't even begin to describe.
And selfish person, and therefore if you are sexually aroused, if you are horny, then you won't care about the fact that it might psychologically damage some relatively young girl to do this. You won't care about the fact that she's being taken advantage of. You won't care about the fact that you're basically abusing her and taking advantage of your power. You won't care about any of these things. You'll just want to have sex. Now, what was found was that among these about 10%.
Oh, and the other thing he did that was so dumb is that he's trying to say that all the elites are geniuses. That's the other thing. So there's three parts of his argument, right? And all three of them are dumb. All three of the premises or whatever of his argument are retarded. Okay, every single one, dumb.
Was that among these about 10% of the male population?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, anybody I don't know, you don't really, unless this guy probably never took psychology or whatever. So it's one of those things. People can make this mistake. I can see. I like even me yesterday when I was listening to him. When I looked at the paper, I could see that he's not representing what she's saying, but I couldn't put my finger on what his mistake was. But now I can see it. It's so obvious. It's so bad, right? But that's what happens. A lot of people. So it's possible that he's just mistaken, but it's also possible that he's this smart, but also that he understands, but he's just being deceptive. I don't know.
Are what might be called psychopaths, but it is considerably higher, a bit higher among eminent men. It is something like,
yeah, this is true. This is the thing. Like most high IQ people, right? They're not like super high IQ, right? They're just kind of high IQ. So between 120 and 130 or something like that, right? That's most of the people that are professors or lawyers or doctors or whatever. So those people, they tend to be very kind of group thinky, kind of they're very I don't know. They're not the type of people to think outside the box they're very they tend to think as a group because they don't want to cause trouble. They sense early on, because they're highly intelligent, they sense early on that if you say certain things, it's trouble. So they know that, so they don't say those things. They don't even think those things. They just dismiss it out of their mind. You know? Then you get these, then there's people that are really high IQ, right? Like outlier high IQ. Then those people tend to be more low in agreeableness because they don't care about what other people think. They just want to find what's the truth. That's all they care about, you know? That's what we tend to see. So That's why a lot of people with high IQs, they tend to be, yeah, like what you're saying, they're very deceived. They're easily deceived.
14% are psychopaths. So psychopaths are overrepresented among eminent men. Among what the category of subclinical psychopaths.
So remember the other thing. So now he's reading. I don't know. I guess he's reading that same paper. I don't think the paper was saying this, but I can't remember. But so the paper is saying something like, "Look at
Have
this."
sex. Now, what was found was that among these, about 10% of the male population are what might be called psychopaths.
Okay, so you see that? Remember, I was saying yesterday. I was like, "That is so dumb. That's so utterly retarded." Because how could 10% of the men, if 10% of the men are psychopaths, then 10% of the men would be in jail or be like murderers or something. It's insane. That's utterly insane what he just said. Okay. But then he doesn't even get how dumb that is. Right. And the thing is, it's not like 10% of men have psychopathology, not psychopath. Yeah. This guy's just retarded, dude.
But it is considerably higher, a bit higher among eminent men. It is something like 14% are psychopaths. So psychopaths are overrepresented among eminent men. Among what the category of subclinical psychopaths, which goes up to 16% of the male population are subclinical psychopaths. So a psychopath is the kind of person who would be, would end up in prison, basically, who wouldn't be able to function.
You know what's weird too about this whole argument he's making? Like, he's supposed to be supposedly right wing, right? Kind of like trying to fight against how feminists depict men as evil in all situations or whatever, or they depict the patriarchy as evil or whatever. But then this guy is basically saying that like men are mostly psychopaths, or there's this high occurrence of psychopaths among the men or whatever. It's just like, what are you saying, dude? It's so dumb.
Normal society. A subclinical psychopath is that you have sufficient impulse control and sufficient social ability to be able to function in normal society and not end up in prison. That's a subclinical psychopath. 16% of the male population are subclinical psychopaths. 52% of politicians, 50% of artists, and 70% of writers.
Okay, so once again, that paper's not saying that they're all 50% of writers are psychopaths. Think about that. Think about what this person is saying, right? 50% of the writers. So when you pick up a book and you start reading a book, like whatever, like George, like I don't know, whatever, I don't know, some book, right? Like, I mean, think of all the great writers you read, like the Dickens or the Shakespeare's of the world or whatever, right? He's trying to say that 50% of them are psychopaths, you know? This is so utterly retarded, dude. And this guy's just got a straight face. Like, it's weird, dude. Like, does he not realize how dumb this is?
So subclinical psychopathology is massively, massively overrepresented among highly eminent, famous people. Why would this be the case? Well, what is it that causes you to become extremely eminent? A good example of the extremely eminent is the genius type. What is the...
So you see, now he's trying to tie in the idea of the eminent, that is our elites, right? Elite politicians, elite whatever, scientists like Stephen Hawking or whatever. They're elites, they're genius types. So then that's what we would see. We would see genius types are psychopathic, and that's just how it is. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh God. I don't like like I don't know. I'm trying to do this in such a way that I can cut this off into a video and people will understand what I'm talking about. But I hope people will get this, what I'm saying. I don't know.
Genius like, and a number of the people that Post analyzes would be recognized geniuses. The genius combines essentially our extremely high intelligence with psychopathic traits.
No, it doesn't. It's not true. It's not the truth. Okay, geniuses, yes. I mean, when he says geniuses, he's talking about these people with really, really high IQs that are outliers. Okay, not like not even just genius level. Like, they're higher than genius level. Those type of people, right? So he's saying that they're psychopathic, but no, they have low agreeableness. That's not psychopathic. Yeah, psychopaths also have low agreeableness, but the mere fact that you have low agreeableness does not mean you're psychopathic. It's so utterly retarded what this guy is saying. I can't believe this. I can't believe this person tries to act like he's some big intellectual or whatever. What a joke. What a complete joke. Anyway, this is the paper. Let's look at this paper real quick, and then I'm gonna switch that. It is quite the convoluted mess, but yeah, I think it's probably edifying to point out the logical failures. Yeah, I mean, just so you guys are aware of how dumb some of these people are. Like, that guy's supposedly on the right, and I'm not saying Christians should be on the right, but like Christians will tend to kind of they'll be more like into what people are saying on the right, because the right because the right is more like Christianish, you know, because because our society used to be a Christian society, right? So the right is always trying to go back into history and resurrect the traditions and stuff. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can read this, but that's what I say. Creativity is considered a positive personal trait. However, highly creative people have demonstrated elevated risks for certain forms of psychopathology, including mood disorders, schizophrenia, spectrum disorders, and alcoholism. Now, when I read this yesterday, and I saw that word psychopathology, I thought this woman was stupid, because I was like, oh, because I thought because of what he said, I had that in my head, psychopathy. So I was like, why is she trying to describe? She's trying to describe mood disorders, schizophrenia, spectrum disorders, and alcoholism as psychopathology. So I was like, well, what is she talking about? That's dumb. But no, she's right, because that's what these things are. These things are psychopathology, but they're not psychopathy, you know? So this guy is a fool. That guy, Jolly Heretic, is a stupid idiot, which I already knew that, but I mean, I don't know. I don't even know why I brought this up, because you guys probably don't care that much, but it's just like so dumb the way these people are. Anyway, be aware that you're going to see more and more on the right that these people are trying to talk about that kind of thing, like this elite pedophiles or whatever. It's all just a distraction. They're all just trying. They're never going to tell you the reality of it. They're always going to use it for their message, what they're trying to push, like this stupid nonsense, you know? So just watch out with these guys.
Okay. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Studying the Bible with Mike, Sam, Pat. These other YouTubers are just so trash. Hit the thumbs up if you wanna support. Go follow Mike as he follows the Lord. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 You better watch out, Mike's calling out the shields. If you're not free grace, you need to sit down and chill. We're not hyper grace, you know we keep it real. Eternally secure, you know that we're sealed. We don't back low, we're not workspace heretics. Mike's not in it for the money, trying to get a lick. They out here selling their souls for a couple clicks. Becoming Freemasons so they can't just get rich. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Shout out to Mike, Sam, Pat. Check out his channel, Toronto Bible Study. Subscribe and like.